I'm Brittany. I studied abroad in Seoul, Korea.
I'm Claire. I studied abroad in Florence, Italy.
I'm Esther. I studied abroad in Budapest, Prague, and Vienna.
And today we're going to talk to you about packing tips. When you're packing clothes, try and think about packing things that are darker so that you can wear them more without having to wash them, like pairs of jeans and just tops that you know that you can wear a lot so you don't have to pack as many different clothing items. Find a small rain jacket or something that can compact into your bag and then you can bring with you everywhere just in case it's going to be raining. And the same kind of concept with a towel, a small towel that you can bring to hostels and stuff because usually they don't have towels. You're really going to be happy that you have that. In Italy, I had like Birkenstocks that had good support, so any kind of like sandal that isn't totally flat can give your foot support when you're walking everywhere. It's helpful.
And another tip is when you're packing, make sure to keep like emergency toiletries or medication. Sometimes when you're traveling, you tend to run out, and if that's the case, sometimes the country that you're in may not have the same supply, so make sure to plan ahead of time for that. As well as whenever you're packing, also think about things you're going to buy while you're there. Sometimes we get too overly excited, we pack everything we can. When we get there, we buy a lot of things and can't bring it back. So just make sure to leave some room for souvenirs whenever you buy things. Packing
Things that are going to be really important to your trip in your carry-on so that in case your bag gets lost, you can survive for a week, or I had to survive with 2 weeks without my suitcase. Another really important thing to bring with you is adapters based on whatever country you're gonna be in so that you can charge your device. So I got a universal adapter ahead of time, and that was really helpful because it was able to go with me to a lot of different places.
Bring some snacks from America. You have some free time, usually lunch, dinner, or something, to go to get foods from the local country, but you may not want that food. May not sound appealing to you, so just having that backup snack idea for America that you're comfortable with is always a good idea. And having small water bottles that you can just bring around. Sometimes there's not, you have to pay for water in Europe, so sometimes it's handy just to have your own small water bottle to take medication and stuff to have around.
When you're traveling around, like she said, bring the important things that are with you, but sometimes you don't want to make it too heavy. A lot of people in my study abroad experience brought like their huge purses with like their whole life in them, and sometimes it's hard to carry around. So if you're gonna travel around once you're already there, make sure to go ahead and go light with only the emergency essentials with you. And also be careful of pickpocketing. Whenever you're packing your things, pick a purse or a bag that you know is in front of you or really hard to get into, so then you don't have to worry about others pickpocketing you while you're there.
Hi, my name is Ashley and I studied abroad at Roehampton in London.
Hi, I'm Giovanna and I studied abroad in Florence, Italy.
Hi, I'm Amelia and I studied abroad in Seville, Spain.
Today we're going to talk about money, practicality, and transportation while you're abroad. I had a credit card that I used at like grocery stores or restaurants that didn't have fees. And so every time I went there, I could just use that credit card.
A lot of places didn't take credit cards, so it was helpful for me to take my debit card and draw out about 200 euros worth of cash at an ATM and then use that for the next few weeks.
Make sure to call your bank ahead of time or just go online and fill out that you'll be traveling or being out of the country for just a little bit of time, just so they know and that they don't close your account.
Something that was really helpful for me was I had Bank of America in the States, and so when I went abroad, Barclays was affiliated with Bank of America. So when I pulled out money with my debit card, there were no transaction fees. So I would suggest looking into whatever country you're going to see if your bank has a partner there.
I actually bought a Spanish phone, but I never used it at all. I just used my American phone on Wi-Fi. The most helpful thing was just going into a cafe. Most cafes do have free Wi-Fi in Europe, and I'm sure a lot of other places, and it's pretty easy to just sign onto a Wi-Fi network.
I had an international phone plan, so I also had unlimited data, so I have a little bit of a different story, but I had to get a phone plan or have some sort of comparable thing for my program. So that was really helpful to have the international phone plan because I could make phone calls to anyone, and it was just for like, I think 30 cents a call, so it wasn't, or 30 cents a minute.
One app that really was helpful when I was abroad was Venmo. So a lot of places abroad don't split checks, and so it was easy to pay each other after a meal or something just via Venmo. And then a couple other apps that helped us when we were abroad. One that I found very helpful in London was City Mapper. You can download maps offline, like the buses and the trains and stuff like that, and so you can like get your destination before you go, and so you can follow that offline.
It's very helpful because you don't have data. You'd have to download it on Wi-Fi, and then after that you don't really get any connection. Another app that's helpful for getting around not being able to use data is WhatsApp. It's basically text message over Wi-Fi, and it's really helpful for staying in contact with your friends and family and send pictures.
And you can also make phone calls on WhatsApp, so that's really helpful too because it's free calling and it's just through Wi-Fi. And then another helpful one is also Airbnb. A lot of people stay in hostels when you're abroad. If you're interested, Airbnb is really helpful too, and you get to meet new people that way too.
Something helpful also to save money is when you go somewhere, don't always just call an Uber and take the easy way out. It saves money and it helps you blend in with the culture more if you learn how to take the bus, look at some maps, do the metro. There's great public transportation in Europe, and it's really awesome to learn how to use it.
Yeah, and it's fun too. You get to meet new people. It's also helpful to ask for directions in the local language. So if you're wherever you are, if you can if you can and have knowledge of the language, it's really helpful to be able to speak to them. If not, like definitely learn some phrases beforehand, or have like a phrase book or something that is like just a, I guess, crash course in that language, so you can be able to just say like, I need to get here, or I need to go this way. And it's helpful also for taxis too, because sometimes they don't speak the language, sometimes they don't speak English, so.
Hi, I'm Mary Lauren. I studied abroad in Sydney, Australia, and taught abroad in Panama.
And I'm Brittany, and I studied abroad in Florence, Italy. And we are going to talk about how to make smart choices abroad.
TCU does a great job of having organizations that prepare you and are there for you if you ever have an emergency. One is called On Call, and to have all of those numbers in your phone, I think is a great idea in case you're ever in a sticky situation. You can use those.
This goes without being said, but don't go anywhere by yourself at night. When in a foreign country, you really don't know what to expect, and so you should always be in a group once the sun goes down.
Also take time to plan ahead all of your weekend trips or any plans you have. Make sure to print everything out. Relying on your phone or something might not be a great idea. So I always had that printed and in a folder, highlighted, ready to go with addresses, maps, buses, how to get there exactly. So everything worked out.
Print extra copies of your passport and your visa. I carried a printed copy of my passport everywhere I went, and then I kept my actual passport in my room in a safe place because you never know who might come up to you on the streets and ask for your papers or anything like that, so always have that on you.
Try to be really culturally aware of alcohol policies and tendencies wherever you are. Don't ever go overboard, but just try to be safe and aware of the culture that you're in. In some cultures, it's normal to have a glass of wine with dinner or something like that, whereas just try not to be out with Americans and stay out all night. That'll affect how you experience the city the next day, and it'll reflect poorly on you and TCU.
Yeah, just be safe while you're over there. Make good choices. Just because you're in Europe doesn't mean you should do something stupid. You should actually be smarter over there. And then really look at the other people around you, and if the locals aren't doing it, then you should not be doing it. I did a lot of random stuff. I really tried to engage with the locals and get their perspectives of their city and ask for dinner recommendations or fun stuff that they suggest to do that's kind of off the beaten path and not as touristy. And so since I was in Florence, I really got to know the baristas of some of my favorite coffee shops, and that was a great outlet for me and really gave me an inside scoop into the city.
I also loved meandering around the city or any city I was in, of course safely, but exploring and finding those hole-in-the-wall places to eat and little shops.
And then one thing that we both did was blogging our experiences or journaling, because so much stuff happens to you abroad. You look back and it's a whirlwind. So if you're taking notes and remembering and jotting down just random experiences that happened to you, it'll definitely spark your memory years later, and it's really fun to look back at that.
My name is Tracy Williams, and I'm going to talk to you today about On Call International. On Call International is TCU's global assistance program with accident, travel, and medical insurance. On Call International responds to critical medical or safety emergencies as well as day-to-day travel problems. You'll get the on-call contact information from your leader or faculty, and you can also find it on our website. So you can call on-call for any type of problem that you might have while you're abroad, including such things as medical and pharmacy referrals, a 24-hour nurse helpline, prescription replacement assistance, security advice and recommendations, and lost luggage assistance. So what's great about on-call is that they can not only help provide you with a referral to a medical facility, they can also arrange for prepayment of your medical costs so that you don't have out-of-pocket expenses. So to take advantage of this service, you need to call on-call and ask them to assist you with finding a referral, making an appointment, and arranging for prepayment of services. This can take up to 24 hours, so if you need more immediate or urgent care, you should definitely go to a medical facility and then file for reimbursement of those costs afterwards. On-call is not a first responder, and so you should know and carry with you the equivalent of your country's 911 number, so that if you do have a true life-threatening emergency, you can call that number. We always encourage preventative planning as one way to, as the best way to help prevent major issues and problems. And so some tips related to that are to have enough prescription medicine with you for the entire time that you'll be abroad. To visit with your doctor before you go to make sure that you feel comfortable with your own health needs and you feel prepared to handle any health situations that you might have. We encourage you to have copies of important documents like passports, credit cards, and visas, and to think ahead of time about how to prevent day-to-day situations like theft of goods, illness, things like that. There's a lot you can do, depending on the country you're going to take care of, to think about preventative steps. Finally, save all of your important numbers in your phone and then also carry them in your wallet too, so that you've got two ways to reach out to someone if you need help. Thank you. We hope you have a great trip.